All right, let's get crack-a-lackin', shall we? Oh, it would help if I went to the right scene. Hello, everyone. Soul Commodore back at you again. Welcome on in. We are back today, working on this. Yo, Gage, what's happening? We are back working on this painting here, and as you can see, I've started filling in some of the blue already. So all of the templates have been put on the painting now. So now it's just a matter of painting in all the dark and seeing what we come up with. You do have to cook today, so you'll be ditching me soon, Sally. Hey, no worries, no worries. It's all good. You got your life to live. Excited to see how much I've done. Well, thank you. Me too. And hey, I mean, we're gonna be here until 7:30 my time, which is like 6:30 your time, I think. I have to dip out a little bit earlier than usual because I have a painting to go pick up at the station gallery. Because their show is over right now. So, without further ado, let's get going. Let me switch over to my actual art home screen. There we go. Let me see if I can bring this a little bit closer without causing too much of a ruckus. There we go. I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. There we go. Because right now we're going to be working on this stripe right here. So hopefully my head isn't too in the way. You can kind of make out on the camera there. You can kind of make out the transfer that I did. But what we're going to start with is the part that I'm dreading the most, which is the eye. Because as you can see with this other figure, we didn't have to do the eye at all. The eye is all covered up, but we don't have that luxury with this one. The eye is out there for everyone to see, so we got to make sure we do it justice. So I'm gonna put up the. Hopefully my head's not too in the way. I'm a little bit worried that it is going to be. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If it is, then I'll do my best to move out of the way. And I want to start with the eye. Top of head stream, yeah. Okay. So. Just gonna try to straighten out this brush a little bit. So what's for dinner tonight? I haven't eaten dinner yet, so I gotta figure out what I'm gonna have after I get back from the gallery. Tacos? Oh, good choice. Are you a fully loaded taco kind of person, or do you keep it to the basics? Okay. So with this. Oh, you would be if it wasn't expensive to stock at all. Fair. That is very fair. Very fair indeed. I need a little bit more light. There we go. I like onions and peppers and all that jazz. At least you have salsa today. Nice. I do like onions and peppers too. And I've kind of grown to enjoy them on tacos and the like. Roommate likes cheese and that's it. See, that's where I used to be. I used to be straight up just like meat and cheese. But I've done my best to broaden my palate. I think it's actually going to be easier if I just hold this to make sure that I'm getting it right. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Let's hope I don't screw this up. Oh, that brush is too not enough paint on that. You got this? Thank you. I mean, if I do screw it up, it's okay. Everything is fixable. Paint covers paint. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, that's right. The eye technically ends over here. Right. Okay. I'm basically approaching this the same way that I do my charcoal drawings, where you basically fill it in where it's dark and then go from there. I'm gonna need a slightly larger brush for that. That brush is fine, but it's a little bit too small. It's a little too tedious for my liking. Trust your sketch? Exactly. Exactly. Which can be a hard thing to do, admittedly. It's sometimes difficult to trust the work that you've already done. But that's what you gotta do. I'm not gonna put as much paint on this as I usually would, just because we're in such tight quarters. I know sometimes the sketch is fucking wrong, but I don't think yours are. Well, true, true. I mean, sometimes the sketch is wrong. Sometimes my sketches are wrong. You know, this one might be too, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll find out. You know, we'll see what happens. It's an adventure. You know. My wife and I actually this week got some good news in that we were accepted as patients at a new clinic that's a lot closer to our house than our previous one was, which I'm very happy about. And the previous one was already far enough, and then that clinic is moving even further away from us. So we were like, all right, it's hopefully we can get in somewhere else. And thankfully, we were able to. I also really like this doctor from talking to her. Um, it also helps that, at least in my opinion, it helps that she's a person of color, because I know that people of color, along with women and people who need gender affirming care and all that kind of stuff, are not really taken seriously when they have medical problems. Um, so I feel like I'm feeling confident that any medical problems that we may have will be taken seriously, which is a luxury that a lot of people don't have. And I realize how fortunate I am to be in a position to have that. That's my hope, at least. And our oral doctors were good, but yeah, me too, me too. Like, my wife really trusted her old doctor, and my old doctor, like, he was good. He was good. Um, if I'm being honest, they were a little bit too into like naturopathy. Uh, that was never their first go-to thing, but they were a little bit too cozy with it for my liking. I mean, you do what you need to do, right, for your own health and your own well-being. But I if there's something wrong with me, I want some drugs, right? So, um, anyway, see, that's all shadow in there. Okay, the real dark stuff is on the outside. Yeah, I feel like we can trust this doctor to do right by her patients and do right by us. So, which again is something that I do not take for granted because a lot of people don't have that. I mean, hell, my own dad doesn't have a doctor anymore because his doctor retired. All right. Well, I mean, the eye's looking okay so far. Looking all right so far. Got to create food or I'll never get up from my chair. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in, Gage. Always good to see you. Enjoy those tacos. And of course, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Thank you for the lurk. And we'll see you around. Hopefully you're able to rejoin by the end of stream. But if not, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I still got to figure out what it is I'm going to eat once we get back from the gallery. Maybe I'll have some dino chicken nuggets. Which isn't packed with nutrition, but they're quick and easy. So because stream is going to be a little bit abbreviated today, I don't think we're going to end up with my goal, which was to finish the last 4 segments of this, but we'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be a New Year's miracle. That's all just shadow under the eye. We're going to paint that a little bit lighter than it was. Just like so. And now we're going to add a little bit of come on. A little bit of indentation here to kind of suggest that there are eyelashes. The eyelashes are important. They're a vital part of the eye structure, the whole eye ecosystem. Help to keep stuff out of your eyes. Doing some more shadow here. I think the struggle with this particular part of the painting is going to be carrying over what it is we do here over here and making sure that it's consistent. I think that's going to be the most difficult part, if I'm being completely honest. But we'll find a way. We'll do it. And we'll do it right. Just like the Trouble Center says in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, do it and do it right. There's just a little bit of a lingering shadow here coming off of this part of the eye, sweeping across. Looks dumb, then I'll just paint over it with blue. And we'll try again. Okay. So now we gotta do these shadows on the upper structure of the eye and all of that. Hopefully this is coming in all right. Hopefully y'all can see what's going on. And just like with charcoal, I'm starting with the darkest and moving lighter. So all the darkest stuff I'm putting in, just laying down, and then we go lighter after that. Just like so. This thing is basically just a big old charcoal drawing. That's how I'm treating it. Now this crease up here just kind of suggests that it's there. Same with this one here. Coming down here as well. Coming off of there. It was a little bit too dark, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Oh, that's very dark. What I'll try to do is actually just prep the corner of the cloth, wet it a little bit, wipe that off some, without putting it in too many of the wrong spaces. There we go. All right. What else is dark here? The eyebrows are dark. Start here. This isn't just going to be one giant glob of black paint. I'm going to try our best to have variations in the tone here and actually follow the line of the hairs in the eyebrows. As best as we can. Keeping cognizant of the surrounding area, such as the fact that the hair comes down here, which I'll throw in a few of those wisps now, just to map them out. And now we'll continue with the eyebrow. Got that angle right. Like so. That's looking pretty good. Now there's 2 bits of hair here that I've got to be not careful with, but I might actually want the larger brush for this particular part. It's stiffer. Bit of a stiffer brush, so. Yeah. There we go. That worked. While we're here, we might as well just do the rest of these. Feel like. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want to try and get it as close as possible. What you actually see. And I thought this might just look like a big old jumble of stuff, but trust me, I kind of know what I'm doing. Kind of. Don't trust me too much. While we're waiting, I'm gonna put this back in the water so it doesn't dry out. There we go. And you know what? Might as well just do up here. So I'll just fill all this in. We're up here anyway. Might as well. Yeah, that's looking like I'm just looking at it on the screen and it's looking pretty good actually. I'm pretty happy with that. Wonder if they'll let me bring that closer. No. Come on. There. Well, let me try to zoom in. Well, let me zoom in. Yeah, but it's kind of blurry, isn't it? But I don't know. We'll try that. We'll see how that looks. as we fill in the rest of this, the top of the head. And yeah, all down this side is basically just dark, isn't it? Yeah. I'm just gonna get a bunch of black paint on the brush. We don't want to go too crazy, but I'm just gonna follow this down here. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go back to using the brush on its edge with less paint on it to kind of direct where all of these hairs go in the direction that they come down, just like so. Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. My apologies if if this ends up kind of sounding like I'm just talking to myself. That tends to happen when I'm kind of in the zone. I try to keep it to a minimum, but yeah, sometimes doesn't work. Also, y'all get a front row seat to the weird faces that I make when I create. So, as far as this goes, this strand of hair is a little more full up at the top. Like this is pretty solid all the way through down here. And then that one is as well. You see what happened there is I don't have enough paint on the brush. So it kind of overdid that strand. But that's okay. That's fixable. There we go. Okay, and now we will continue on down here. Kind of mapping out where there's a few highlights within the strands of hair. And then just kind of painting around those. Make sure we don't accidentally fill those in. Oh, I just realized you can't see what I'm doing down here. Hey, Andromeda, thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoy your dinner. But yeah, welcome on in and thank you again for the lurk. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Thank you for the lurk. I hope you have a delicious dinner. And thanks for coming in and saying hello. we're just kind of taking a detour around what we were doing on the eye, just to do some more of this hair around the face. There we go. And we'll continue kind of mapping out the face here. I don't know the angle that my hand was at. Hold on. Okay. There's nothing, well, I mean, there's a lot of things worse, but for the current context in what I'm doing, there's nothing worse than trying to make a solid straight line and realizing you've got paint on the back part of the brush that's also brushing off there onto the canvas. Thankfully, I didn't make too much of a mess, but it definitely muddies up that line that you're trying to make. Okay, so that's about as far as you guys can see. So let's go back to working on this eye, shall we? I'm gonna grab my other brush too, the smaller one, so it can get back in here as well. I'm very excited for when this gets unveiled, actually, when I take off the tape, because I have a feeling that this is going to look pretty good. Not to toot my own horn, I don't want to do that, but I am looking forward to it. Okay, so. Brushed off a little bit more of this paint. There's a little bit too much paint on there. And basically gonna just very lightly put in this shadow here that goes up toward the eyebrow. And then kind of curls around into it. Just like so. And then there is some more shadow up here that we're just gonna fill in a little. Especially around the hair. Just like so. I'm gonna do a little bit more in here actually. Kind of soften that corner. There we go. Now we got to put in the actual like shadow in here, and hope that I don't screw it up too badly. So that we get the actual shape of the eye. And I'm going to switch over to the other brush. Oh, that was way too dark. Way too dark. I didn't think I had that much paint on the brush. That's okay. Just come in there with a little bit of liquid to kind of brush that out. Go. And now we come to this side and do the same thing with some shadow coming in this way. Over top of the eye. You can do some shadow to kind of mimic the eyelashes. And actually, we can add a little bit more pigment to the brush for that. There we go. Now, basically trying our best to make this eye as three-dimensional as possible. Adding shadows and keeping highlights and yeah. That's looking pretty good, actually. I'm quite pleased with that. Now we're gonna add a little bit more here. Oh, I should probably plug my laptop in, shouldn't I? I knew there was something I forgot to do. We're gonna plug that in. Now I'm gonna turn on the thing that the plug's actually plugged into. I don't want a repeat of what happened last week, where my computer died in the middle of the stream. There we go. Doom, boom. That was horribly off key, but it's okay. I'm not a professional singer. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to this brush. I'm going to wet it a little bit. We're going to do the same thing, where we add a little bit of pigment, take that pigment off as much as we can. I'm just using my cloth here. And then we go in and add in some shadow. Very, 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 very little paint on the brush. Like barely any at all. There we go. And now we're going to come over here and do the same thing over here. Still pretty wet. I don't want the brush quite that wet. Getting the excess paint off on here. There we go. Accidentally smudged this. Just gonna get rid of that. Like so, there we go. Right. Just gonna kind of do this shadow down here. Just following the line of the face. Cheekbone there. Okay. I think that pretty much does it for the eye. Actually, no, I lied. It doesn't quite do it for the eye. There's a little bit more shading that I want to do. Just up here. That's better. Okay. So now we're going to move the camera down and do the rest of what's down here. Which honestly isn't much. There really isn't too much going on down here. Got the corner of the mouth, but now we can fill in the rest of this black. I just realized my head is like right in the way. Try to lean out of the way as much as I can. Thankfully, the subject's hair is very easy to work with. It's very dark hair, which very easy to work with. Makes a lot less work for me. So obviously there's going to be some highlights in there from where the hair is a little brighter than in other spots, but overall, there isn't too much variation, which actually also works with the style of the portraits that I'm going for here. Where if the hair is this dark, it means you kind of focus on the faces more so. So it kind of works for me. Five already. Been working on this for like 45 minutes. Dang. Well, unlike the other face, there are definitely a lot less areas on this that have just that are completely black. So it makes sense that it's taking this part a little bit longer. That's perfectly all right. Just need some more black paint. There we go. Of course, in case anyone was wondering, I use Winsor & Newton paints. The Galleria acrylic. Not out of any sort of like, you know, brand loyalty. I just like them. I've liked them since I was in university, all those years ago. I find them to be a very easy paint to work with. At Michael's, when you buy them, it has them listed as like intermediate or something like that, in terms of like, because they have like beginner, intermediate, and advanced or something like that in terms of like quality of paint. To be honest, I really don't know how much validity there is to those ratings. Work with what you want. I'm of the belief that it'll be harder to, no doubt about it, because the paint quality is different, but you can make just as good a painting using high-end paints as you can with like acrylics from the dollar store. It'll be tougher, no doubt, but I think you could do it. You can make just as nice a painting using those. As long as you connect with what you're doing and you enjoy it. All right. So. I say that too because there's a lot of people who, one, can't afford like the high-end paints, the academic paints, if you will. And also, there's a lot of people who get discouraged because they see labels like that and they're like, oh man, I'm just a beginner. And they don't even try it because they think like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to do anything with like cheap dollar store paint. It's like, no, try it anyway. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least you tried it, right? And you can make that judgment. So many times when it comes to like creative stuff, like we talk ourselves out of trying things and we talk ourselves out of doing things when really it's that's how you learn what it is that you can do and what your limitations are and where you can improve and what you already do really well, you know? But if you talk yourself out of even trying it, then you'll never know what it is that you can do. And it's scary. I mean, believe me, I had a lot of reservations about like starting a painting like this because I was like, oh man, what if I can't hack it? You know, what if it ends up looking awful? Well, if it did end up looking awful, then, or if it even does end up looking awful, then I just put that down as okay, that was a failed experiment. We'll try something else. And I know it's very easy to say and a lot harder to actually do, but I think the doing is definitely worth it. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Pour up some of this black some more. Make it a little bit flatter. There we go. Okay. Now I'm just gonna deepen the black in some of these areas where I can see a little bit of the blue coming through. You probably won't be able to see it on camera, but I can see it in person. And okay. All right. There we go. I'm going to zoom back out, so excuse my fingers. Oh. You're going to let me zoom back out? Hello? Ah. Here, I'm going to switch to this real quick. While I fiddle around with this. Hold on, everybody. There we go. I think that worked. Let's go back to this. Yeah, there we go. All right, there's our segment, the second segment. So let's take this tape off. It's regular old painter's tape. Now this paint does look a little bit deeper and a little bit darker, like this black, because one, it's newer, and two, it's on a blue background as opposed to yellow. But there's a way to solve that, which we just have to wait for the paint to dry a little bit, and then once the paint dries a little bit, I am just gonna go with some black in between the two, and just kind of like force them together. If you will, like I'll just take some black, go through this seam where it is here, where this is obviously lighter than this, and just kind of paint them together so it masks that that seam just a little bit. All right, huh. There we go. Not bad. That actually ended up working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Now, do we dare take on this one? I mean, we've still got like a half hour to go, so I think we do. I really doubt I'll get this center one done, but that's okay. Excuse me. We can at least get it started. All right. Let's just sit up straight. What am I doing? I'm like hunched over. Like, what am I doing? It's not. That's not good posture. All right. So where do we want to start here? I think once again, I want to start with the eyes. Yeah, I want to start with the eye. Didn't transfer over as well as I thought it did, but that's okay. It didn't have to. That's perfectly fine. Did not have to. Okay. It's got the edge of the eye. Kind of mapping it out in my head where I'm going to start and where I hopefully end up. So, we've got the edge of the eye here. Not too much paint on the brush, but a little bit more than that. Hey, Nat. How's it going? Welcome on in. Hopefully you're having a swell day. We're just doing some more painting here. We just finished this segment here. This one I did earlier today at work, or during work. But we just finished this this segment, and now we're moving on to this one for the last half hour stream. I have to leave a little early because I have to go pick up a piece of artwork from the Station Gallery that was in their annual juried show, their group show. So unfortunately, I will be leaving y'all a little bit early, but we are going to be working on this piece, or we might even start a new one because there's 3 of these with 3 faces each. We might start a new one, but either way, there's going to be a stream Saturday morning till about noon. We're going to start probably around 9 and stream until about noon. We're just going to be working on this. Either this particular painting or another painting in this series that with brand new faces. Because I might mess around and accidentally finish this one because I'm liking working on it so much. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm glad you think so. I've been showing a couple of our friends this, and one of them made me laugh. She was like art. Her exact words were, "Art fucking fascinates me," and her whole thing was the fact that, like, you know, people who create, and it's not everyone who creates, because some people don't create this way, but for me, this is how it is. Like, I've had this kind of pictured in my head, and then I went out and figured out how to translate it to actually being on the canvas. And she's like, I don't understand how people do that. Which I was like, you know what? I understand that. I don't know why I'm able to do it, but I'm glad that I am. The fact that you're able to think of something in your head, whether you actually see the picture in your head or it's just a thought in your head, and because some artists have aphantasia, so they don't actually like picture things in their head, you know, they think other ways, like they think in words, or they think in phrases or something like that. But they're still able to create based off of that, you know? Okay, I think that's a good corner of the eye. On a scale of 1 to 5, my brain imagery is about a 3. Okay, there. Actually, if I remember correctly from the discussions we were having, uh, both my dad and my sister are like a 0. Like apparently they both have that aphantasia where they cannot. If you ask them to like picture a clear blue day and an apple sitting on a table, like they can't formulate that in their mind. Like they can't see it in their mind. Which is fascinating. That's fascinating to me. Because for me, it's like there's a freaking movie playing in my head like 24/7. Sort of like how some people don't have an inner monologue. Which again, my inner monologue, I wish that dude would shut up sometimes. But he doesn't, you know? So you'd say like a 5? Yeah, for me it's definitely a 5. No inner monologues baffle me greatly. Yeah, same. Same. Definitely no judgment for people who because sometimes like people think that you're like judging them for not being able to do that. It's like no, there's no judgment at all. It's just a very interesting way of thinking that's so foreign to the way that my brain works that it's fascinating. That basically just comes straight down to that corner. The the transfer I did on this one didn't transfer quite as well as the other ones, but that's okay. I can still pretty much make out what it is that we got to do and landmark things where they need to go. It's wild to me though to find out that some people don't think in pictures. Yeah, that was wild to me to learn that. Okay, so this kind of this is all in shadow basically down here. Need a little less painting on the book. Mine are usually pretty flat, lacking detail and shading. Fair, fair. I wonder what it is that dictates that in the brain, like whether or not you're able to like picture things. I haven't really looked into that, but I think it'd be interesting to look into, see what that process is and how just how it varies so differently across people, you know? Pretty good. I'm gonna make this line a little bit darker though. Just this here. Differentiate it a little bit more. As we go into the final stretch, the final 15 minutes. And yeah, this kind of comes over. This corner of the eye is challenging. I mean, we're getting there, but it is challenging. But that's okay, the challenge is fun. Some of the paint off this brush. Okay. What are we doing next? I think got where the eyelid kind of comes over. Make that a little bit darker, actually. Maybe not darker, but more solid. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay. Then there's a bit of shading right here. Comes up. Shading in between the two. I've been too dark on that one part, but just lighten that a little bit. So the eyebrow. Kind of goes to there and then kind of just ends, but I'm going to cheat it a little bit just to gain a little bit of continuity. Yeah, it's right about there, right? Yeah. Some of the dark from the eyebrow right there. Just so you can kind of follow it over, as opposed to it just being a kind of stopping right here. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All of this is just kind of shaded in the same shade or so. I'm going to get my other brush because actually we're getting into the edge of some hair here. Yeah. And that just kind of comes up there. That come off this way. Now up here, I'm just gonna fill this in black because up here is all just black hair. Just follow that line across. There we go. Now that kind of goes over there, which means that this kind of like end of hair is right here. Yeah. This one kind of comes down to about here, but is otherwise pretty dark. We're getting there. Coming along. I don't know why I pivoted over to doing the hairline, but that's okay. That's okay though. At least the hairline will be done. I don't gotta worry about it. You know? So after that, ooh, squeaky chair. That kind of just comes over here, doesn't it? So there's the line for that. And this kind of comes in, which means that starts about here. Cross. And counterpart right there. This is all kind of light in there, but outside of that, it's pretty dark for the rest of it. Ooh, it's one of my new favorite songs. God, I love this song. It's called Voyager by Dry Hope. Man, oh man. I don't know what it is about this song, but it just hits me in that right way, you know? You know how songs sometimes do? All right. So now we're gonna go back to, oh, I should probably wet that brush some. We'll do about 2 more minutes. Just gonna do some of the shading in here, and then we'll call it a stream. That's what I think. Now let's see if I made that too dark. I did. I think that's actually pretty okay. There is, however, a little bit too much water on this brush, so I'm gonna have to take care of that in a second. I know I thought it was going to end, but while I'm here, I might as well map out the outside of the nose on this side, since it's so light. Okay, one more thing I'm gonna do, just to have something dark that we can anchor to for next time. I'm just gonna do this nostril. Not the whole nose, just this nostril. There we go. It's something to anchor to for next time. Hey, thanks, Nat. I appreciate that. I'm glad you think so. I'm liking it so far. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for today, I think. Yeah. Let me head back over here. There we go. But yeah, thank y'all for coming in. I hope y'all enjoyed. Whether you were lurking or chatting, or you tuned in for a second and then left, and then you can't hear this message that I'm saying, I still appreciate you. You know, because sometimes you got to tune into a channel, realize it's not your thing, and then that leads you to find the thing that you want to watch. You know. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming in, hanging out. It's good to see all of y'all. Hey, thank you for streaming that. I do appreciate it. All right, let's see who's doing what. And like I said, I'm gonna have to raid and run, but that's okay. Let's see who's doing what. Well, you know what? Reezy's on. Let's go say hi to Reezy. I don't really have any art friends doing anything, so let's go say hi to Reezy. Reezy TM. Oh, Windows on with Fall Guys? Well, I mean, we can go over to... okay, so if y'all want to go watch Fall Guys, Based Windu, who is a great dude, is playing Fall Guys. We're going to go say hi to Reezy, because I haven't seen Reezy in a minute. Fellow Canadian. Who is... What's Reezy doing right now? Dark Cloud 2. Let's see. Let me get my raid message together. Reezy TM. There we go. All right, so this isn't usually when I stream, what I'm about to say. I usually don't stream on Saturdays, but on Saturday from 9 till noon or so, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe 11:30, we're going to be working on this, or a painting similar to this again, to make up for the stream that I missed on Monday. So hopefully you guys can tune into that, just hanging out. And those times are Eastern time. So if you guys are up early on a Saturday, you can come hang out with me while I work on some art. All right, but if I don't see you, thank y'all for coming in and dropping on by. I do appreciate it very much. I hope y'all have a great rest of your week if I don't see you. And yeah, take it easy, y'all, and do the best you can. That's all you can do, all right? Do the best you can. All right, take it easy, everyone.